Hey everybody, I'm Alex, and today I'm going to share with you some of my favorite shortcuts for getting around Premiere. I use these every day, and I know they save me loads of time, so now I'm going to save you loads of time. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so we're in Premiere, and you can see I have some footage in the timeline, 2 different clips, and I have some footage in the source monitor, a different clip as well. When I'm importing, I can press I on the keyboard to set an in point, and O to set an out point. And what I did now was I selected a segment of the footage that I want to import to my timeline. And a lot of people I see dragging and dropping this. But did you know there's another way to do that? Yes, the comma button on the keyboard is a shortcut to insert that footage. And the period button is a way to overwrite that footage. And now here's the difference between the two. Say this footage right here, it's important that I don't delete this very first part of the orange clip. Well, in that case I'd use the comma shortcut because that's an insert edit and it will simply push this clip to make room for it. And this will change the duration of your timeline and it won't delete any of this. However, if I don't care about that, I can press the period and that's an overwrite edit and it will go over it. So if I was on the correct layer, it would actually just go right over that orange clip. And so that's the difference between the insert and the overwrite. Now, the next tip I got for you is when you're scrolling through footage, sometimes you have a bunch of it, it's really long, it can be really boring. Luckily, there's a way to speed that up a little bit. And if you press L on the keyboard, that'll let you play through the footage. But if you press it twice, it goes a little bit faster, and if you press it 3 times, even faster. Alternatively, there's the J key, and that plays backwards, and the same thing happens. When you press it again, it goes faster and faster and faster. And so that's just a really quick way to scrub through some footage and make sure you're getting what you want out of it. When you're importing footage, sometimes you just want the audio, or sometimes you just want the video. To do that, say you just want the video, you'd go down here and make sure these 2 buttons are disabled. And then what you can do is you can drag and drop, or like I said earlier, comma, insert, period, overwrite. And that will bring you in your footage without the audio. Sometimes that's helpful. And you can do the same exact thing with the audio and get none of the video. So, comma, period, drag, that's how it works. And when you're dragging, you have more ability to choose which layer you want to go on. And when you're inserting and overwriting, you might at first think you don't have that same ability, but you can simply just change where this marker is, and that's where it will go. Alright, enough of my importing shortcuts. Now we'll get into some other stuff. On a more advanced timeline, this one's pretty easy, so I will make it look more complicated. You'll often have a lot of cuts. See what I did here? You have all these cuts. Say you need to get to a specific point, but it's kind of just really annoying to get to. If you hold down Shift on your keyboard, it will lock you in or just snap you to the next edit point. And this can be really helpful on larger projects when you're just trying to get to that next edit point. Similarly, you can use the up and down arrow on the keyboard. The up arrow will bring you to the previous edit point, and the down arrow will bring you to the next edit point. So you can just snap to all those edit points really quickly, and I find that really helpful. And now the next tool that I'm going to teach you, or shortcut, is, you saw me do it earlier when I split this clip up, is use C, and that's the razor tool. And this can help you get in there and make some like really precise edits and trim the footage up so you can cut where you need to and get rid of something really quickly. And now when you use C, you're going to be in the razor tool. You need to get back to the selection tool, so you can hit V, and that's a shortcut for the selection tool. So now instead of cutting, you will be able to select again. A different type of selection tool that I find really helpful is when you press A, it brings you the forward selector. And basically what this does, it selects everything to the right of the clip you click on. So look at that. You can move all of it at the same time. It's similar to highlighting, but you don't have to highlight, so it's a little simpler and can save you some time. Now, the next trick I want to teach you is sometimes you have a piece of footage that you want to, I don't know, add a cross dissolve at the beginning and the end. Well, if you hit Command D while that clip is selected, it will add a 1-second cross dissolve to the beginning and end of that clip. And this is really helpful if you don't want to go and scroll through the effects and type in cross dissolves and then drag and drop it. Alright, sometimes when you're editing, you'll end up with some empty space between clips. And normally you don't want that. You can use the selection tool to drag it over. You can use the forward selector to drag it over. And here's my personal favorite. You can click the empty space and hit delete on the keyboard and it snaps it right together. I find that saves a bunch of time instead of highlighting everything behind it and moving it over or using the forward selector. Just clicking and deleting, just so fast, so simple. Alright, sometimes what will happen is your footage isn't snapping into place along the other edit points. And what might have happened is you press S on the keyboard. S is the shortcut for the snap magnet. See, now it shows you it does that, but if you accidentally hit it, it doesn't do that. You can see here it is with it, here it is without it. And I'm just pressing S on the keyboard. Sometimes that happens on accident and it can be annoying if you don't know what's going on. So that's a good one to know if your snaps aren't working. Okay, so I have this timeline, has so many effects on it, and you know, it's just not playing back. I can't tell what it looks like. What I can do is set my in point with I, set my out point with O, and then hit enter, and it will render these effects out. So what that means is I can preview them back without the lag, and this can be super helpful if you just want to see like a segment of your timeline with all these effects that you have and get a more realistic idea of what it's going to look like. So there it is, it rendered out the effects. Now it plays back really smoothly and I can see what it actually looks like. Alright, so I hope some of these will be helpful for you in the future, and let me know if I missed any of your favorite shortcuts or tricks to edit faster, and comment that below. Until then, I will see you next time.